Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Mel Giedroyc. Now, in the news this week, after the Queen decides to make one more royal trip to India, doubts are raised about a local man's idea for adapting her stairlift. At his holiday resort in Florida, and against all advice, Donald Trump insists on having a go at bungee jumping. And after a public backlash, Nadine Dorries finds a new way to sabotage Channel 4 News. On Ian's team tonight is the chief leader writer at The Observer, who started her career at the Which Consumer Institute before moving on to be a senior political advisor to Ed Miliband. So I look forward to her expert insider views on what toaster I should buy. Please welcome Sonia Sodha. And on Paul's team tonight is a writer and broadcaster who says of quizzes that he's really competitive, but he doesn't mind losing. If only we'd known earlier, we'd have put him on Ian's team. Please welcome Richard Osman. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Sonia, have a look at this.
Oh, right, driverless car. Massive U-turn.
This is Boris and Pretty. They're forming a welcoming committee for Ukrainian refugees.
Oh, Keir Starmer, open goal. And there's someone flying out. Oh, we could just about get in. Well, this is the news that, as we go to air, Boris Johnson hasn't resigned. But we have got another inquiry.
Yes.
Into whether he misled Parliament.
Yes.
So we've had 3 inquiries now.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Third time lucky. Explain the process. We've got a proper political journalist here.
Yeah, well, what happens, Ian?
I'm happy to hand over to you. So we had an exciting vote in Parliament today. In fact, we didn't even need the vote in the end because Boris Johnson said he was very happy for this parliamentary inquiry to go ahead because he's got nothing to hide. So, yes, we'll be having a third inquiry.
And is it best of 3? Is that how it works?
Is everyone getting behind him on this?
It depends what they're doing whilst they're behind him.
It's hard for me because I was at a lot of the parties, because where else could you get a drink in London back then? You couldn't. And, you know, Boris had a party, so it was his birthday. Rishi had a party. Yep. He just got a big tax rebate, don't know where from. But it seems to me a simple story. If you set a law and you break a law, of course you resign. That's always been the rule of politics.
It's the other Tory politicians who have adopted this policy of answering the question in a certain way. So, I'll give you an example. Mel, if you ask me, what's my opinion on Partygate and the Boris Johnson scandal?
What is your opinion, Paul, on Borisgate and the Boris Johnson scandal?
I'll tell you what I am focused on. And that's the missing words round, which is, I think we should put this round behind us. I mean, that's, you know, we've done that round. So the missing words round is what I think what the people of Britain would expect me to be focused on at this point is missing words rather than something that happened, I mean, a long time ago. History.
And his classic response is that I'm going to concentrate on doing the job and I'm going to do what people are really interested in. Are you interested in the Partygate stuff? Yes. You see, the focus is on this birthday party, but the other parties are much worse.
Yes.
And the police have said, well, we won't issue any more fines until after the local elections, because we don't want the electorate to know about what's going on. That would ruin the point of democracy. I mean, it's just ludicrous. And I think the police should be investigated as to why they're not issuing these fines. Why not?
There are some people who are supporting the PM. Who's this being sat on by Priti Patel? Yes, Rishi Sunak there, who's also received a fixed penalty notice for attending the infamous birthday party. He was there to support the Prime Minister, delaying a trip to the US, or as he calls it, home. And, of course, what did Brandon Lewis, who's the Northern Ireland Secretary, what did he do on Radio 4, do you know?
This was the speeding fines.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's a genius because he said, well, if you get 4 speeding fines, that's just 4 speeding fines, isn't it? So if you went to 4 parties, it's just 4 parties. But he kind of forgot if you get 4 speeding fines in a year, that's it. You lose your licence.
You absolutely do. Should we have a little listen?
We've seen reports of ministers who have had both the Labour Party and the Conservative Party over the years, where it's been speeding fines and things like that. If you accept that decision,
while
you
in
move
office.
Forward. Well, I believe so, but I'm just going on the reports I've seen over the weekend. But look,
come on, back that up. That's a very big statement. What are you thinking of?
Well, as I say, if somebody gets a speeding ticket, and I'm not in any way trying to equate a speeding ticket that somebody has had with the situation of the sacrifices people made through COVID, I'll be really clear about that. Well, but a fixed penalty notice
you've actually literally just done that.
No.
Keir Starmer said the last minister who got a speeding ticket and then lied about it ended up in prison. I know, because I prosecuted him. And here is, of course, the man in question.
Chris Huhn.
I don't know what sort of lens that cameraman's using there. It's clearly telling him that he's further away than he actually is.
And how has Conservative MP Michael Fabricant been helpful?
Is he not giving any interviews at all?
He was discussing the birthday gathering for which Johnson received the fine, and Fabricant told BBC Radio 5 Live, the way it's been characterised, you would think they were pole dancers. Of course not. That was when he was mayor.
But again, it's the least of the parties, isn't it? I mean, there's the Bring Your Own Booze party coming. Yeah. There's plenty of other
The
parties.
karaoke party.
The karaoke party.
The wine fridge party.
Yeah.
I bet they're really grim, those parties. I bet they're not even that good fun.
You get invited to a party in 10 Downing Street, you say no.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You got invited? Right.
I said no, gang.
This wasn't last year, please.
No. No, I got...
You're not still doing the pole dancing, are you?
Boris Johnson's made quite a thing of his role as a sort of global figure during the Ukraine crisis. What has Ukraine done for him in return, do you know?
Oh, have they let them take duty-free back?
No, this is actually quite good. They've named a street after him.
What,
You know what? I was going to say that. I just thought, surely not.
Sonia, you can say that now with hindsight that I've given you the answer.
They named a street after him.
Very good, they have. Do you want to have a look at it? Here it is. This is the street named after Boris Johnson. It's called Mayakovsky Street in Odessa, which is to be renamed Boris Johnson Street.
Does it do a U-turn at the top and then...
Meanwhile, who has criticised the Home Office scheme to resettle asylum seekers in Rwanda?
The Archbishops of Canterbury and York.
The Archbishop, yeah.
Said, I think they used quite a strong form of words, actually. They said that it sort of clashed with the will of God or something like that, something to that effect.
They did indeed. Yes, that's right. The Archbishop of Canterbury, the Most Reverend Justin Welby.
That's a bit of a show-off thing to say.
Yeah.
The most reverend.
Is he more reverend
Come on,
than
mate.
the Archbishop of York?
He is.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Yeah,
The other archbishops must be this guy.
Yeah.
yeah, he's the most.
Here he is again. Yeah.
You, like, say very reverend.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, he's earned that.
Yeah, but not the most.
I think unless it's been on pay-per-view TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say most. This has been proved.
Did you just say Papal View TV?
I wish I had.
Now, where has Minister for Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency, Jacob Rees-Mogg, been unexpectedly popping up this week?
He's been counting in and out civil servants of departments because he wants to end the work-from-home culture.
Yeah.
I actually feel a bit sorry for these civil servants, though, because I think they're actually working from home because they're scared of being accosted by cake.
He's been making surprise visits to government offices. He thinks people are sort of taking advantage of working from home to work less hard. Here's Jacob Rees-Mogg in his place of work.
He's lying in the House of Commons.
Oh, you're sort of smiling benevolently.
Yeah, I'm on drugs.
Paul is very much working from home this evening.
Meanwhile, gang...
Yes, you seem to think we're in a gang.
Gang.
Yes! Tonight, Paul, we are.
We'd be ahead of the gang.
I don't think me and Ian are in the same gang.
Yes, you are.
Are
Please.
we?
Oh, please.
Do you feel as if we're in a gang, Mr. Hislop?
Not, what, some sort of South London gang?
Yes.
Hi, I'm from South London.
I know.
More like a sort of a theatrical gang, in a gang show, all together, just for one night.
It sounds really churlish, Mel, but no.
OK. Meanwhile, it was the Queen's 96th birthday this week. How did she celebrate?
They released a picture of her standing between two ponies.
Yes, lovely white ponies with those sort of shaggy, flared legs.
There they are, yeah.
That's basically the royal equivalent of a Zimmer frame.
Let's hope the two of them don't run off in different directions.
This is the sorry apology of a Prime Minister. Boris Johnson said again this week about the parties, I'm sure that whatever happened, the rules were followed, yeah. Every time someone mentioned COVID, you had to drink a shot. Perhaps the one positive to come out of Partygate is that it's shown us how the Prime Minister has succeeded in assembling a truly remarkable cabinet. It contains vodka, gin, rum, Angostura bitters, and a full range of mixers. Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, used his Easter sermon to criticise the Home Office's new policy to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. Now, I'm guessing that's just to keep Priti Patel away. Also this week, a list of 70 books were chosen for the Queen's Jubilee, which doesn't include anything by J.K. Rowling. The book list has proved controversial, as it's overlooked the best-selling debut novel of beloved TV personality turned author, The Best Things by Mel Giedroyc. Paul and Richard.
Yes.
Have a little look at this, why don't you?
Oh, yes, a car that drives itself. There we are, in case we hadn't got it the first time round. Driverless car. That was the world's first phone in a car, and he's got no one to speak to because this is the only phone in the car. And back to the driverless car again. Now, this has been aimed for 4-year-olds, this question, isn't it?
Popcorn. You.
Yeah.
Finally got one.
Yeah.
I don't know why the popcorn was in there. I laughed when we did the rehearsal because I didn't want to look dense. I don't know
You've
why...
had a rehearsal?
Yes! I didn't know why the popcorn was there. Ian, explain.
Well, I thought the story was that driverless cars, you can now watch films. So it's like...
Yes, that's it, that's it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Watch films in your car, yes.
You can watch films in your
Yes,
car.
you can. The weird thing is, you're allowed to watch telly in your car, but you're not allowed to watch an iPad.
In a driverless car.
But that makes
they're
no
not real
sense
yet,
because
are
you're
they?
not in the car because it's driverless. But you are kind of in the car, but you're just like that. I don't understand driverless cars.
I think you're in the car.
You are in the car. Are you? Sonia, help me. Are you in the car? Help me,
You're
Sonia.
definitely in
Sonia,
the car.
Sonia!
I'm a bit scared.
The driverless car?
But otherwise, so you just got driverless cars just driving around. I'm not sure that's solving any problem.
See, I think this is Boris Johnson's latest ruse, because the next excuse he's going to come up with is just, I didn't mean to go to the party, the car just drove me there.
Very good. Now, staying with technology, Paul.
Yes.
Imagine,
Yeah, I am.
if you will, imagine you're Japanese.
Yeah.
You eat 10 grams of salt per day, which is double the recommended amount.
Yes.
How are you going to reduce your salt intake using just a pair of chopsticks?
Well, you try picking up each grain of salt with a pair of chopsticks.
It's to do with technology.
Oh, technology. A robot breaks your arms if you have too much salt.
Special electric chopsticks, have you heard about these?
Electric shocks up your arms if you have too much salt. Administered by a robot. Naughty boy.
Yes, but it is. No, it is pretty much that.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I could have made a fortune inventing that.
Electric chopsticks, and they trick you, there they are, they trick you into thinking your food is saltier than it actually is. How is it done, guys, do you know?
By injecting salt directly into your bloodstream. Via your wrist.
So it gives you a shock when you put the chopsticks in your
Boom.
mouth
Boom.
that gives you a salt hit.
Exactly.
Why not just put less salt in?
They're connected to a wire and they give you a small shock in the mouth, thereby creating the sensation of a salty taste.
Well, why bother with that? Why not just suck a plug?
Exactly. What's been the disappointing news this week for extremely gullible people? I'll mime it.
Yes.
Oh, good.
It's to do with...
Yeah.
It's a new round, just invented.
Yeah.
It's to do with...
Playing tiny darts?
No.
Spoon bending.
No.
Is Christmas very long at your house?
Non-fungible.
Token. It's a token.
NFT!
Non-fungible tokens, you're absolutely right. They are rubbish, apparently. The world's first ever tweet, which was sold at auction last year as a non-fungible token for $2.9 million, has been put up for resale by the buyer and received a highest bid to date of $6,000. The Guardian summed it up. A man who paid $2.9 million for NFT of Jack Dorsey's first tweet set to lose almost $2.9 million. And here is the tweet. This is the first tweet. Just setting up my Twitter. So dull.
The second tweet was spelling.
What did the buyer, a Malaysian businessman called Sina Estavi, say to mask his disappointment?
He said, I honestly thought I'd bought the National Film Theatre.
He said, I will not sell this to anyone because I do not think everyone deserves this NFT. It's not just a tweet, it's the Mona Lisa of the digital world. What a twat. This is the news that we'll soon be able to watch TV while at the wheel of a driverless car. Japanese scientists have developed a set of electrically charged chopsticks that deliver a small shock to the tongue, which has the effect of making the food taste saltier. Although British visitors to Tokyo will be asking, have you got an electric knife and fork, please? Also this week, an NFT of the first ever tweet failed to sell. Owner of the tweet, Mr. Estavi, has compared the digital asset to the Mona Lisa, as in the phrase, compared to the Mona Lisa, this is worth sod all. And so, to round two, the jigsaw of news.
Hooray!
I love the jigsaw of
Yeah.
news. I love the sound effect, the fuck, 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 fuck.
I beg your pardon?
I love it! The jigsaw of
This
news.
is one for each of us.
No, check it out, guys. It's a really good sound effect. You're going to love it.
OK.
Buzz when you know what it is.
Right.
Jigsaw of news.
Yeah.
See? There we go. Oh, that was a very quick buzz there.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking over there for.
Oh, sorry. Paul.
I don't know if I want to answer it now.
Oh, please, Paul.
This is Penelope Keith. There's been ruptions within... Is it Equity? There was a meeting. They've all resigned.
It's not equity.
No, it's not equity,
It's
no.
the Actors Benevolent Fund,
Yes.
charity.
Yes.
I know this story because it was in Private Eye. So there's been a coup.
There's
the
been a
Actors
coup.
Benevolent Fund.
Yeah.
And Dame Penelope Keith, who's the president,
Oh, I love her.
has gone, as have 10 other trustees.
Yep.
They've all gone. I mean, sort of household names, Dame Sian Phillips,
Yes.
Brian Murphy from
George and Mildred.
George and Mildred.
It's like an episode of Midsummer Murders so far.
Yeah. They've all left the committee, and the charity commission has been called in.
There was a stormy, bad-tempered meeting of the ruling council, and the chairwoman and half the ruling council were booted out. And do you know what or whom Penelope Keith blamed for the bad-tempered council?
Oh, I know this. She blamed Zoom,
She
didn't
did. She absolutely did, yes. I think basically what it is just some bad-tempered old people who can't handle Zoom conversations. Anyone ever had that problem?
Have you got anything, Janet? You're probably a dame, are you?
Yeah, you know I have, Ian. You bloody know I've got one CVE, so fuck off.
That was one of the worst episodes of Celebrity Squares they ever broadcast.
Now, did you see the comedy that was played out in the 1225 bar on the Fish Quay in South Shields, starring Julie's mate, Lindsay Clark? Anyone see that?
No.
No, it's really, really good.
Yes, go on, then.
Lindsay and her mate Julie were having a bottomless brunch for Julie's birthday. Julie's jacket fell behind a sofa. Now, being a mate, Lindsay tried to lean over and get it for her, but got her head stuck for 10 minutes. And being a mate, Julie videoed the whole thing. Here we go.
I knew the photos of those number 10 parties would come out eventually.
I presume the two guys made a wish.
Here she is being hoiked out from behind the aforementioned sofa by two very kind bar staff.
That's Nadine Dorris.
This is the row at the Actors Benevolent Fund. The Actors Benevolent Fund helps out performers who are short of cash, have hit hard times, or even worse, been in panto in Leighton Buzzard. Fingers on buzzers, please, teams. Oh, she's in there like flint. Go on, Sonia.
This is President Macron.
Yeah.
Kind of kicking back on his sofa. It's a special photo that his
Well
photographer released, and I think it's because he wants to attract the young vote.
Absolutely. He wants to appear a little less stuffy, a little less formal.
There's two bar staff standing by in case he falls down the back of the sofa.
It's the chest that there was the talking point, was it not?
We'll come on to that, yes.
Will we?
Oh, dear, that sounds awful. Oh, dear. Yes, this photograph, it was taken on the campaign trail by his official photographer, Sodha de la Moissonnière. Thank you. Now, in contrast, Boris Johnson's personal photographer takes pictures like this. There we go. Now, Sonia, you, of course, used to be an advisor for Ed Miliband. Were you always having to sort of rein in the sexiness?
I think a photo like that was never on the cards.
Really? Should we have a little look at Ed's seductive powers? Yeah? We've seen Macron, let's have a look at Ed. Oh, Ed looks very sultry there, doesn't he? Yeah. Did he often pull that face where he went? This is the news that Macron is pulling out all the stops to win the election. There was a scare this week on the campaign trail when Macron visited a Velcro factory and had to be cut free by firemen. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Saw Player News, the newsletter for musical saw players. It's very hard to tune a musical saw, they're actually a bit sharp. And we start with Britain's longest-serving highway engineer loves his job so much that he what?
He eats tarmac.
He has a double date with a dual carriageway.
No, he studies grit in his spare time. Oh. Yeah. This is Somerset Road engineer Alan Sperring. Now, according to Somerset Live, Alan admits that one of the attractions of visiting foreign countries is looking at how they build their roads. And if he takes the ferry to France, he'll have the bonus of at least 24 hours staring at the tarmac just outside Dover. Next up, what often credited with the discovery of musical saw?
I was going to say the Carpenters.
A drunk violinist often credited with the discovery of the musical saw. According to a report in the Hyde Park Herald of 1926, a drunk lumberjack discovered the musical abilities of the saw. Not only was he legless, but by the end of the night, he was also missing a hand. Next, accomplished saw player was also an expert in playing hot.
The spoons, kitchen sink,
Nope.
cutlery, kitchen extensions, conservatories.
Nope.
Jim Robinson in Neighbours?
Nope. It's the balloon. Oh. Would you like to see some balloon playing in action? Next, birds can either be what or what, but not both.
Alive or stuffed? That's one of the first things they tell you at taxidermy school.
The answer is fight-worthy or flight-worthy. Yeah, this is the news that scientists have concluded that birds evolved into one of two groups, those that can fly and those that have weapons such as bone spurs on their feet. I wish I could fly right up to the sky, but I can't.
You can.
You can. I can't.
But you know, he couldn't.
Orville couldn't fly,
That's the tragedy of it.
Maybe it's because he had bone spurs on his feet.
Or maybe because he had Keith Harris's hand stuck up his jacksie.
Next, playing a 6-foot saw. What?
Isn't as easy as it looks. Involves very long arms.
Dangerous?
Yeah, yes, Sonia, well done.
Kidding.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Playing a 6-foot saw is very dangerous.
Wow.
This is, of course, from Saw Player News. I should warn
Well,
you.
it wasn't going to be from the Daily Telegraph, was it?
This is an article from Saw Player News in which the author warns that playing a 6-foot saw is very risky. Most of these saw players are incredibly careful and could count the number of accidents they've had on the finger of one hand. And finally,
yes.
What set to revolutionise space travel?
Branch of M&S Simply Food on the moon.
Childhood toy. Ian and Paul might have had one of these.
A Harold Macmillan Jr. kit. Free with licorice pipe. I've never had it so good, Mummy.
Slingshot, guys.
I was going to say a catapult.
Yeah, it's a giant hypersonic slingshot.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the news that NASA's working on a giant slingshot that will hurl satellites into space. If it works, the slingshot will be able to transport a person to the moon in under 150 pieces. So the final scores are...
yes.
Paul and Richard have 5 points.
Yeah.
Ian and Sonia have 7 points. Well done. Sonia, good man. But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Climate change deniers protest in Sahara Desert.
Next.
Is that a hat? No, it's a boater.
That's the original Boaty McBoat face.
Oh, clap that.
That was good.
Oh, yeah.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Sonia Sodha, Paul Merton and Richard Osman. And I leave you with news that, at a fun run in Suffolk, someone shouts "Oi, tosser" from the sidelines. In central London, Sue Gray is still waiting for the go-ahead from the Met to publish her report. And after explaining yet again that double words only score once, an exasperated relative is on the point of ditching his regular Scrabble session with Grandma. Good night.
Expect some surprises. Inside Number 9 is back for a new series. Watch now the first episode on BBC iPlayer. Here next on BBC One, doing a bang-up job with the comedy, Lee is a law unto himself in Not Going Out.